So we're here in White Plains, New York. Another episode of the Athletes and Athletes podcast. And today I'm joined by, for real, my guy, big dog Nate Knight.
Yes, sir.
Congrats. Recent signing with the New York Knicks. And Nate, let's skip the small talk, bro. Rumor on the street is you're like a mental math whiz. Like if I give you an equation, you could solve it relatively fast. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
to a certain extent.
What does a certain extent mean?
I'm not sure. I guess the bigger the numbers, it'll take me a little bit more time, but I'll get there.
Can I toss you something? We'll start easy and
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm bringing up my calculator just to make sure.
All right.
Okay. What is 52 times 14?
728. Yeah.
What is 78 times 17?
70. Because I know what 80 times 17 is. That's like 1360. And I'm trying to
Wait, let me verify that. 80 times 17. That's correct.
Yeah. And then let me see. You got it's 1,326. Yeah. It took me a second. I was going backwards. I was
Are you
doing the
serious?
wrong way.
How do you know how to do this, bro? What? Will told me to ask you. This is
Yeah.
How did you establish that? That's crazy.
It's like a weird trick I do. It's like I get to the closest multiple of 5.
Yeah.
Because I know those super easy. Like if you can get there or like get to a multiple of 10, you take one of the numbers, take it to the closest multiple of 10,
Yeah.
and then just work backwards. Like I would do 80 times 17, which I know is 1360. Like that's really easy.
Yeah.
And then you subtract 17 times 2 to get to your 78 times 17, if that makes sense. Because you just break it up into 2 simpler equations and just put them together.
Did you learn that in high school or college, like what or middle school?
Yeah, it was just something I picked up. You do enough math homework, you just try things out. Like,
oh, my guy's in the books. My guy was in the books.
Yeah, figure out what works. Yeah.
Yeah, and you grew up in Syracuse, and if you don't mind me sharing a little bit, like you came from a background and in an upbringing that most people find hard to push through, but like you've always been the guy to that's fought through that and push your head in the books and get through that. Right? Your high school had like a 55% graduation rate.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Why was education so important to you? Like, how did you have the foresight? That's the proper word I use.
I don't know. I think it was just from my environment. You kind of see what people are doing and how things are going for them. And generally, like education is taught to be like the best route.
Yeah.
The easiest route to be successful is to make sure you get an education. And that was within my control, was to just be the best student I could be with the tools that was given to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. I mean, me and Will were talking like, man, bro, Nate has like totally educated himself and super well-rounded. Was it true that when you were done at William & Mary, you were thinking about working at Goldman Sachs before like the MBA was a possibility?
Yeah. Like that was a job that I was seriously considering, like towards the draft process, just with like COVID and everything. Push a lot of stuff back, like push the draft back from, I think it's usually in June.
Oh, because of the pandemic.
June,
yeah.
It was June 20th, it's June 20th for sure, all the way till November 18th. That was COVID draft night.
Wow.
So I had like 4 or 5 months extra of uncertainty with where my basketball career was going to go.
That's insane. So what was the specific role at Goldman?
Oh, I was just going to start small investment banking and then try to work my way up.
Did you have like was the job lined up?
Yeah, we had alumni connections at William & Mary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you tapped in the alum. They say, hey, look, Nate, you got the capabilities.
Yeah, no, you do well.
Solve some math problems, hop into IB, make a little change.
You know how college goes. You do your thing there. Your alum's always going to take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was just an option for me. And then I was lucky enough for basketball to work out.
Yeah.
The way it did, and here we are.
Bro, that's insane. I'm so glad for your sake you didn't go into investment banking. I've had athletes on the podcast who chatted about investment banking, but you know how many hours they work. And obviously in hoop, you have to dedicate your craft, but IB, bro.
Yeah, one of my friends, Omar, he does investment banking now, and I send him a text at 4, he'll hit me back at like 2 a.m. And I'll see you the next morning. He just got out of work. Like, it's insane.
It's like these guys operate on like a different time clock.
Yeah. It's
ridiculous. And you were a business analytics, data science major, econ minor at William & Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because you were math oriented? Was that,
Yeah, because I was going to start off I was going to be math. Like math was going to be my original major, but I didn't see the applicable traits in a math major. Like, I can't think of many math majors that are like deeply involved in this arena of
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I mean, unfortunately, I can't give you 6 figures for doing the mental math thing, right? But like, I mean, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, right?
No,
Like,
for sure.
you know, when people say I'm an English major, and then see parents in the background eye roll because it's like, okay, that's not translatable, but it is translatable adjacent,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Have you pulled that trick on your teammates? Not trick, but it's like
No, it's like no one's really.
cared to ask.
Yeah, it's like that's not something that someone's looking for.
Yeah.
We're getting ready for morning workouts. No one's gonna ask me to do some mental math before workouts.
I-
I'm sure it might come up in conversation eventually.
yeah.
Because like that's something I try to like get across. Like we're more than just basketball players.
100%.
We're human beings still.
100%.
So,
100%. So let me set the stage of where you're at right now, right? Like, first of all, congratulations on joining the Knicks.
Thank you.
Incredible. You were just with the T-Wolves. My guy, shout out Matty Ice, another esteemed A&A alum. Matty Ice, also a resident here in, from New Rochelle, right?
Matty Ice, my guy.
Yeah. So has he plugged you with the Italian restaurants here? Or?
Not yet, no.
Okay, well, he needs to get on that.
Yeah, he does.
Stop BSing, Matt.
I'm gonna text him after this.
Yeah, text his ass. And I'm truly a believer of this. I think you're gonna have an amazing NBA career the next couple of years and beyond. I'm such a fan of your game, and I want to tell like an Uncle Drewski type story in a second. I'll get to that.
All right.
But actually, you know what? Let me tell it right now. Let me tell it right now before we hop back on the business side of things. So, you know, when I knew like you were gonna touch the league, and sounds gonna be like so corny, cliche, but we're at the Dartmouth camp. I don't think that was the first or second time I met you because we also did the KUA Summer League thing.
Yeah.
And you were shooting around and you challenged me to like a 3-point shoot off, like first to make 10 or 7 up, one of those two. And I'm like, I'm a shooter, like that's what I do. So I'm like, this guy's tripping, bro. Like I'm trying to rest, like the coaches are watching, like we're okay, whatever, fine, let's play. And like just lefty one after another. I'm like, bruh, this guy can shoot? Like, what is going on? And that's when you had the bro, can you bring that hairdo back? Like,
no.
Hairdo was crazy.
That was a different time. That was a different time. I thought that was it right there.
Yeah.
I thought that was the hairdo for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I think I just started listening to The Weeknd. So, yeah, I was a big fan for sure.
Hey, understood it. That really was a signature haircut type. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We look completely different back then.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, the glow up was real. But yeah, since then, congratulations. You're with the Knicks now. Obviously, I want you to play as long as you can, bro. But I want to use this time. You're here on the Athletes and Assets podcast. Like, let's chat a little business, bro. Like, what are we thinking for Nathan Knight Enterprises? What's some things that you've been exposed to since you've been in the league? Like in terms of whether it's investments, businesses you find interesting. What have you touched a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, just with conversations with my financial advisor, it's like just to start off, just put like as much money as I can into like a S&P,
okay,
or something simple like that just gradually, earn just a little passive income.
Right.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what investments I want to dive into. That's like that was like the kickoff, and it, past couple of years it's been a little, but
sure. You're in New York right now, obviously, right? Do you hear a lot of stock market talk? Stocks,
yeah,
ETFs.
Yeah, it was actually one thing I learned in school is like, it's like trying to diversify your portfolio.
Right.
I did Euro bonds for a while.
Euro bonds.
Yeah.
What is a Euro bond?
So Euro bond, like as a concept, just imagine the same thing we have.
Yeah.
Just in a different country.
Okay. European bonds.
Yeah.
A lot of the audience is younger athletes who like want to, get into business or look up to hoopers like yourself. Can you explain like bite size what a bond is?
Yeah.
The best of your ability.
I'll give you the finance spark notes.
Okay.
Imagine just as a concept, like a stock or a bond in the U.S. market. Take that market and you can give me any country.
Yeah.
And they have different economic stipulations put in place over their stock market and their stuff. And then on top of that, you have exchange rates, and there's some tax things that go into that as well, because it's coming from a different country. It's not going to be taxed at the same rate that it's taxed here in the States.
Right.
And if you pick the right places, it's just another form of passive income. Simply, it's just like a way to diversify, because as we all know, the economy as a whole can be extremely volatile.
For sure.
Ebbs and flows for sure. So just having some of that mellows it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of sands it down a little bit.
Yeah. It's so interesting because, I'm in San Francisco And what I'm consumed by is tech. So even if it's stock, it's big tech. It's what Google is doing, Amazon, Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm in startup land. It's like raising money from venture capitalists. It's a VC, it's another asset class. A lot of athletes like yourself get into VC, they invest in like tech startups. I'm guilty sometimes forgetting New York is the financial hub of arguably the world. And there's so many different asset classes that I'm not even super educated on yet. It's like crazy, bro.
Yeah, I'm still learning too.
Yeah. Have you found someone that you've latched onto or looking for someone to latch onto that's showed you a little bit more of like the different asset classes? Was that the William and Mary alum, MBPA stuff? Like talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, one guy that I locked in with back at William and Mary was John Leone. Shout
Okay.
out to my guy John,
Shout out, John.
class of '91.
Yeah.
Shout out John Leone.
Yeah.
No, he's not class of '91. He's much older than that. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, he's class of.
Maybe he's like thankful that you botched that, you know?
Yeah, no, great guy though. Really tapped in. Even when I was in college, like we were just having these conversations. Like we'd have team luncheons, like dinners we had to do, stuff like that, and that's really all we would talk about.
Yeah.
Especially once I got into the business school, that's kind of I just wanted to like absorb as much as I could.
And what does John do?
He's into private investments.
Okay.
Yeah.
So various stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he does a little VC too.
A little VC here and there. Yeah.
He's in that phase of his life
Yeah.
where almost everything's passive income.
Wow. That's the dream, right?
Yeah.
And don't take what you're doing now for granted because there's so many startups out there, and I hate going back to tech, but it's just what I know best.
Yeah.
That actively look for athletes to be represented on their cap table, even if their startup has nothing to do with sports. Because what you offer is, aside from being a network connector, you've inherently learned so much stuff from what you've gone through working that you're like a unique voice in a boardroom or somewhere to provide a unique insight. And I think a lot of times these founders hang around with the same people and get the same feedback on stuff.
Yeah.
And like hearing it from a guy like yourself, someone like may go like, oh, light bulb, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's why I love sort of how athletes now are. I mean, there's still a rift between athletes getting super tapped in and being super clued in on how they can maximize their investments. But I think for you, man, I look forward to you being on someone's cap table and like really providing unique insight. Selfishly, maybe like that's not the route you want to go.
No, it's definitely something I'm gonna get into when the time is right.
Yeah.
Like that's something that's I've been locked in on that since I was like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Like before I even declared for the business school. Like I think that stuff is super important. Diversifying your portfolio. That's what I would probably offer to something like that. Just a different insight, different perspective.
Yeah. I'm curious about like the NBA's turning a catwalk and like dudes are balling out on all these different fits, bro. It's insane.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Like dressing it's almost felt like a business in itself because if you're dressed the right way when they take pictures in the tunnel and you're like on League Fits or Complex or something, off the court, there's a chance that actually like that could help you off the court in some form or fashion.
Yeah, it's simple in concept.
Yeah.
But like most people, that's like a passing thought. You know that's a possibility, but that's not why you dress.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like the guys who are really tapped into the fashion industry, like they become a voice in their own right.
Yeah.
If you could trust them with what outfits to wear, you could trust them in other realms too.
No, for real.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. Again, showing another part of your non-athlete side, like your more creative side.
Do you see yourself maybe, hey man, I like your brand. Let me have equity in the company and then help you with your direction and this like.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I think fashion, especially in this phase of my life, is something I'm really entrenched in right now.
Yeah.
I think that might actually be a good route to take things because there are a lot of brands that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah.
Because right now it's kind of saturated that market. Like
Sure.
You got brands making something from absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
The quality just isn't there. I feel like that gets lost in the rift sometimes when you have too many companies. Like everyone's just trying to put out the most accessible, cheapest, most convenient product, which might not give you the most quality.
Sure.
Because quality over quantity is a simple concept, but also it's just applicable in business. Like
Yeah.
you want to make sure that the assets you're investing in, the stuff that you're doing, holds substance.
Yeah.
It's not just like a snap investment and your money's gone because they fell through.
100%. I've seen in terms of the investment styles, it's no different than a hoop game where you have someone like a Jamal Crawford who's like an ISO guy.
Yeah.
And then you have my guy Matt who's in the corner, like knocking down. Like that to me right there is parallel to investing strategies. Like some investors that I know, different asset classes spray and pray.
Yeah.
Like, bro, okay, he's in it. Let me put a little here, here, here. And some are like super conservative, 1 or 2 a year, 3 a year, and then they hit sometimes.
But I think it kind of boils down to the way you're raised, really. It's like
Yeah,
like certain personality qualities can kind of incorporate into how you do business.
I like that. I like expand on that. Expand on that.
If you take a person who was raised in an environment or a situation where money wasn't an issue, they might innately be like less conscious about how much money they spend or where they're putting their money.
Scared of money don't make money.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it's like someone who grew up on the flip side of that.
yeah,
I guess they're called cheap or
right.
like more reserved, like
Frugal,
more more reserved with their money. Like
yeah,
those guys might be a little more on the bearish side versus the bullish side
for
of
sure.
investments. Like really doing their due diligence. And not all those guys do that. Some of them are just stingy and won't invest in anything. But usually the people who do their due diligence understand risk
Yeah.
and understand what happens if you just throw shit out the wall and hope it sticks.
No, for sure, for sure. And on that note, can you give me your top 3 fashion brands that you would consider, just consider
Okay.
investing in? You got
Like a smaller brand.
yeah, can we get a sleeper?
Yeah, a smaller brand, probably Forever Ever. It's by my guy.
Forever ever.
Yeah, it's by my guy Dion Baker out in Arizona. He's doing his thing right now. He kind of started from the ground up, really. Just
T-shirts, shoes,
it's clothing,
everything.
everything. Yeah.
Amazing.
Like he makes things from shirts to hoodies to shorts,
Damn.
sweatsuits. Like he kind of does it all, kind of a
Yeah.
jack of all trades. And it's like for me, I think that just ties into the quality. He's not flooding his marketing or social media with hundreds of different things. It's maybe 10 or 11, 12 products that do really well.
Yeah.
He does like drops every season. And
Okay.
every season it might be 4 or 5 pieces, but those 4 or 5 pieces always do really well because they know their quality.
So he's really big on like let's be really good at a couple of things versus once again, keep talking about diversifying versus narrowing it down.
Yeah, just you don't want to be a jack of all trades when you're trying to start up. You got to find your niche
Yeah.
and like what's going to separate you from your competitors. And
Yeah.
right now with the market this saturated, you just got to have quality,
Yeah.
really, because that's what people are looking for now that everything's kind of accessible.
Yeah.
Like the people that you want to sell to, it's like how much value am I getting out of this product versus whether or not it's my friends or not, if I like it or not, or if it's big at the moment. Like,
Yeah.
what is this product gonna do for me over time? Like
Yeah.
clothes wear and tear, quality pieces, like
Yeah.
vintage pieces that are still intact from the 80s, they still sell.
Right.
But a terrible t-shirt made in the 80s is probably gone by now.
No, 100%.
Reduced to ashes, really. Like
100%.
like you never know what happens to that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm curious about as an NBA player, how do you deal with inbound opportunity? Like, I think each guy, what I've seen, has a team around them, but maybe your process is different than others, particularly because of your ability to critically think and like because you know are familiar with different asset classes already. I think you have an advanced understanding probably of like what you're looking at. How do you deal with inbound opportunities?
Like
Collabs,
people trying to come bring stuff to me.
right, right. Even whether it's a financial thing or is it a physical thing? Like, what's your vetting process? Like, whether you're really rocking with that or not?
Yeah, I definitely make sure I do my due diligence
Yeah.
because again, you want to do that stuff, but risk management, you want to make sure you're not wasting your time either.
Yeah,
That like I might get an email or like a DM from a social media page
yeah,
who
yeah.
like if we're staying in fashion, they can sell
Say-
clothes
yeah.
or something like that. Like that's how I got put on my guy Dion. He reached out to me. Hey, I got some pieces for you. I'll send you some for free. Just tell me what you think.
Right.
Pieces come, their quality. I still have them.
Yeah.
Like they're great pieces. I
Yeah.
was wearing them all last year. Like that's really my guy. And I just got a chance to talk to him, like sit down and really just vet a little bit and ask those questions, see what his process is like. Like, where do you want to take this? And that's what I look for. It's like, if it's worth my time.
When you sat down, were you more concerned on his vision or just the current shit he's put out?
Yeah, it was a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Like I want to see like just like kind of your qualities as a person.
Yeah.
Because that's important too. That's going to show me what kind of business partner you may or may not be.
Yeah.
And then kind of like how's that going to affect our relationship down the road if something were to happen, like if there was a down instead of a up at the moment, how are we going to act about that? So
Yeah. When the A&A merch drops, will you rock my stuff? You know, my free merch that's dropping?
yeah.
Hey, talk to me. You know what I'm saying? It's coming out. Coming soon. Coming soon. Get your A&A merch. Get your A&A merch.
Yeah, I'll cop some t-shirts. for
Yeah,
sure.
man. Well, we're I don't want to spoil it, but on the way. Just wait on it. Man. So going forward, Nate, what do you want to explore more off the court that you haven't had a chance to check out?
Yeah, I think I need to give myself a chance to be educated on like some of the newer things. I didn't realize tech was as big as it was. I know I sound like an old man right now,
Hey, tap in,
but like,
always welcome over here.
yeah, it seems like companies are just finding new ways to use technology,
Yes,
and I think I need to get in there sooner rather than later.
for sure. Ever since I become a founder, the deal flow I'm seeing right now is ridiculous. The companies that want my help because of the A&A community, even if they're non-traditional, they have nothing to do with sports. It's incredible what's going on right now in technology. How AI is disrupting healthcare, sports technology. We just did an event, sports tech focused. Man, it is a really wild and exciting time on the tech side. This podcast, I don't obviously I love tech, but I really try to diversify the topics. But man, what we got to do at the end of the day, it always reverts back to tech. But San Francisco, I feel like it's 5 years ahead of everywhere else.
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, baby.
And get it done over there.
We get it done.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like, I think when the time is right, I'd probably be a jack of all trades, try to dip my hands in as many different investments. They all have different return rates.
Respect. And a lot of NBA guys do that, right?
Yeah, it's like if I can do that and kind of level out my growth, at least have an idea of what it might look like.
Yeah.
Instead of putting all my eggs into maybe like 3 or 4 baskets.
Sure.
Maybe I got 2 dozen eggs and drop them in like 24 baskets.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Good chats. Nate Knight Enterprises on the way. President of Operations, Will Englehart, baby.
Just wait on it.
Just wait on it.
Yeah.
Man, this has been a lot of fun, bro. I really appreciate you. It's been another dope episode with my guy Nate Knight, new New York Knicks signee.
No, it's crazy. Extremely blessed.
Turn up this year, bro, and we're rooting for you. And the A&A community salutes you, bro.
Appreciate you.
That's a wrap.